Hello, welcome. I'm Steve Watson here at Someday Farm, and I was asked to answer some questions about Patreon. Of course, I'm not um, you know, a sponsor of the company. The company doesn't sponsor me. I just make use of them. Um, so generally, the idea is that artists have long had patrons, so people who would pay them for their work and sponsor their work. And uh, my understanding about the site Patreon is that the idea is that an artist can say, look, I have 10,000 people who have pre-agreed to give me $1 when I produce this work. That allows me as the artist to say, am I going to commit this time and energy, my resources to creating this piece of art? Let's say it's a song. Well, let me see. I have 10,000 people that'll give me $1. Is that worth $10,000? In other words, I have a pretty good contract, a pretty good way to estimate what the support will be before I produce the work. I don't, of course, have 10,000 people giving me $1. It just works out to a few bucks, but it has been enough to help me pay my um, taxes and my insurance here to keep the farm. And in the last year and a half, with the worldwide pandemic, that's been pretty tough. So thank you for your support. What you get when you go on Patreon is the opportunity to sign in and support at $0. So it's really just um, speaking your heart, but having an unavailable wallet, and that's fine. And I put a fair amount of stuff on Patreon that's free to the public. So if you're signed in, you'll be able to see that stuff. And then we have stuff at different levels of support. For me, mostly everybody sees, anybody that's a supporter at any level sees all my stuff. Every once in a while, I remember I should do something special for the higher tier people, and I do that, but it's not very frequent. Um, and so, what you could do is say to yourself, well, you know what? I believe in you, and I believe in the value that I'll get. I'm going to give you $10 every time you produce something, which is great for me, and hopefully it's great for you. That's my plan. But then let's say I see that and I say, you know what, I'm going to produce 300 things because they're going to give me $10 each, and then you get a bill for $3,000. That's pretty scary. So, first of all, that's not my plan. I try and do a pretty even number of releases so people can estimate what they're going to, the support level will be every month. I try and do the same classes, the same frequency, more or less. So there's not much change. I think sort of the graph does this rather than that or that. Um, and you can also put a budget, a ceiling to it. So you could say, I want to give $10 every month, but the most I'll give is 20. So then as soon as I do three, you're locked out at two. 2 times 10 is 20. But you still, as far as I understand, you still get all my content. You can still see everything. Um, so you can set your budget, set your ceiling, set your level, and set your level of support. And that can be as low as free. And you can change that anytime you want. You can say next month, I'd like to bump it up, the contribution. I'd like to pare it down. So, anyway, hopefully that answers some of the questions. My aim is to see who uses the Patreon and use it to help me inspire what sort of things I should film. What I post on mine is little 2-minute snippets of lessons. I do entire classes every week, so you could, basically participate in a class. I do entire workshops, which might be day long or many hours long. I do portions of classes where I leave out, let's say, the exercise and the warm up and the workout and the questions, but I just get to the nut meat of the class. I'll do drills, I'll do exercises, and these would include anything from Yi Chuan to meditation to Tai Chi Chuan to stretching to health recovery for post surgical people, stretches, self massage, meditations, Qigong, all kinds of stuff like that. So I try and vary it so that everybody's getting something that meets them where they need. Sometimes it's just here's a shoulder stretch, or here's a self massage for the knee, here's a meditation for anxiety, here's a cool footwork drill, here's a practice that you can do with your bag at home. So I try and vary it. Hopefully that helps. Thank you all very much. Um, So if you go on Patreon and look up Someday Farm, I think it might be patreon.com/Someday Farm, but I don't really know because that's a technological thing. Thank you.